back to the Bridge Between podcast, episode 16, with special guest, my soul sister, Raa'na from Long Beach. We'll get into who Raa'na is. Thank you, everyone who continues to support us, like, share, buying us coffee. We're so blessed to have this momentum with the Bridge Between, especially with having Sylvan on and Andrea just talking about mental health, and I'm just so grateful for the people that we've had on so far, and I'm so excited to talk to Raa'na today. There's so much to say. And again, my what do I call you?
Co-host.
Ride or die. The jack of all everything. You are everything. Raa'na.
Hey y'all, what's
the
good?
queen. Raa'na.
La Reina here.
Yeah. And then as you guys can see, there's lots of colorful things happening in the studio. We got two of Raa'na's paintings right behind her. We got a whole
Beautiful
bunch of her
pieces of
jewelry and art
art.
pieces. Yes. So
Look at those guys. For all of our YouTube
right?
listeners, look at that.
It's
That's
impressive.
beautiful. Check out Raa'na.
Any announcements you want to share before we introduce Raa'na?
Only announcement is my birthday's coming up, so celebrate me. So if you want to buy us a coffee at Buy Us a Coffee.
When's your birthday?
August 23rd.
Okay.
So feel free to buy us
Hey.
a coffee at Bridge
Buy us a coffee.
Between
Let's do this.
888.
Yes.
Go ahead and send us a little coffee. I like espresso. You know what I mean? But yeah. That's all the shout outs I have. Let's go ahead and get into Raa'na.
Wait, I
So
have
we're so excited.
just kidding. One personal shout out.
Too excited.
My
We're too excited for
ancestor.
Raa'na.
I would like to show off this dress that my great grandmother made from Guatemala. She hand stitched this, and I brought it back from Chicago. And because I did so much healing with Raa'na recently through a rape ceremony, it was just very appropriate to bring in the ancestor energy with me. So my grandmother Isabella is definitely here. Chavela, she's definitely with us. So.
Oh yes.
Yay!
Shout out to all the grandmas.
All right, Raa'na. Raa'na has been, let me describe who and what she is to me. Through my journey of what we call awakening, spiritual awakening, which is basically when we realize that there's something more to our story. I felt like there was a moment in my healing process where I was like, whoa, there's something that's like, quote unquote, supernatural happening to me. And it was a blessing to bring Raa'na into my life, or to have Raa'na in my life. And the way I met her actually is through virtual. We were we're still part of a Remembering Lemurian course with Raquel, one of our soul sisters in Hawaii and Maui.
We need to have a podcast too.
We should. Anyways, yeah.
We do
So
this every time.
Raa'na actually, I remember exactly because I saw her because she wrote like a testimony on this woman's website, and so when I started to have my remembrance of Lemuria, which is like my dream state, I just started to travel there so much more, and so when I had all these downloads about this place and me being here, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is wild. And it's like super cosmic and totally out there. But then I saw her, like, she had like a testimony on the website. And then I saw she was from Long Beach. And I looked at her and I was like, why does she
Shout
feel
out
so?
LBC.
Yeah, seriously. Long Beach is a portal for real. But I was like, when I saw her, I was like, I was like, I need to meet this woman. So when we met up, I remember it was for a sunrise walk on Long Beach, because she would go almost every morning during that time, have her tea and go for a walk. And she's like, yeah, come meet me. And we saw dolphins that day. And I remember right after we saw dolphins, you're like, oh my God, I just had deja vu. And it was like the realest thing, like her face. I just remember her face was like shocked, like, oh shit, like we've done this before. So yeah, we kept going for walks and talking, and then she introduced me to doing portal work and understanding more ways that we can work with the land, energetically, spiritually, and like the non-physical part of things, which is very ancestral because coming from those backgrounds, like think about it, we didn't have the internet, so like everything was we were tuned and tapped in so much more naturally, so Raa'na has brought back that ancestral wisdom to me, especially through my healing and just like being around her and how she holds it. So she's been a huge part of my healing process. I like legit, if it's one person that like I don't know where I would be, it would be Raa'na. Like for like legit, y'all. Just because, check out her website, check out her work. Just
Touch of light
because
wellness
not
arts.
only her artwork, like her
you.
artwork is also Reiki infused. So like these pieces have very beautiful energy. I don't wear it, but you guys have seen the orchid flowers. Those are hers. But her sessions are beautiful. I also got certified to do a Holy Fire Reiki with her as well. So he's not only my friend, my confidant, my teacher, my guide. I've traveled with her lifetimes, y'all. Like I've had wild visions around this woman.
True.
So yeah, it's been wild. So anyways, and her son has my birthday. Yeah. Shout out Jaden. So yeah. Tell us a little bit about like your journey, because I know you've been on this journey for a minute. Personally,
and where you're from,
yeah,
and how it started, and how'd you get to Long Beach?
yes,
Okay. Well, thank you, both of you. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
It's really something that's been in the making for a while. I'm super excited to be
First
here.
podcast interview, huh?
Second. The first
Second.
one was a true podcast, I guess, not a video, but yeah. So, but yeah, still getting my feet wet. So I was born and raised in Mumbai, India, and I'm Iranian with like 30%, 20% Indian roots, and a little bit of this and that as well. I came to the United States when I was 17 to the land of opportunity by myself, and I stayed here with my aunt, uncle, and cousins while I was going through high school. And then I was done with high school, and I went on my own college, and just school of life was get rolling before I could say woohoo.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty sheltered until that point, and then like the world was my oyster. No one could tell me anything. It was funny because I'd be like, okay, bye roommates, I'm leaving, and they'd be like, okay, you don't have to tell us anything. We don't care where you're going, when you'll be back.
Yeah.
And I wasn't used to that, so it was great. A beautiful part of my becoming, and finding everything, and then taking a step back and be like, okay, well, we have to be a little more discerning than just participating in every opportunity that comes our way. So, life taught me a lot of things. And I moved to Long Beach in like 2001 from Orange County. So I just like knew that that's where I wanted to be. LA was too crazy. Orange County was a little too sterile. It's like, I need a little something, So found myself in Long Beach, soul family, little nuggets of intuition, following my intuition. So, and that's really where I began to discover energy healing and chakras and soul tribe, more family. I first started learning about chakras through like the frame drum, like the rhythm of the chakras, and
that's beautiful.
and then the colors, and then learning to work with the frequencies to clear my space. And people would always tell me that there's like energy coming out of my hands when I'd give them massages. I'm like, okay, well, there's something to this that I need to explore. So my awakening journey came more of like, there's more to this world than what I'm seeing here, and there's more to life. The Celestine prophecy had a big part in that as well. It just felt really true to me more than fiction, And I was like, there's something more to this book.
Was
it's
it
not
book?
fiction. Yeah.
What was the name of the book again?
The Celestine prophecy.
Oh, the Celestine prophecy. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
It's like an all green book, right?
Yeah.
I've seen
It's
Pay
very
attention to that,
interesting.
y'all.
Yeah.
I've heard great things about it. I'm not
I've
ready
heard
yet.
about it too, but I haven't dived deep.
It was
so.
the first little spark that really got me. Like,
that's quite a jump
like,
start.
Yeah, it was like like the pill that
That's
got
how
me
I
out of the
seen it.
matrix.
I feel like you were a car, and that book was like the other car,
like
and
charged you up.
charged you up.
Yeah,
That's how I seen it in my mind. I had to say it, but go ahead,
Yeah,
continue.
yeah, it was really like
Charged
that.
up.
And then I found The Hands of Light, Barbara Ann Brennan's book, The Hands of
The
Light.
book that's on the centerpiece over
And
here.
that was like finding Pandora's box. I was sitting in like
Oh.
Borders one day and be like, oh, let me go through the occult section and see what I can find,
The occult section.
Yeah. And then
Esoteric.
I found this book. I was like, oh my God, It is real. See, I knew it. The Celestine prophecy was right. It's right here. This one. This
Wow.
lady is a scientist, a
Yeah.
turned energy healer. She knows what she's talking about. So
I love those type of people.
yeah, you
Yes.
know, it's a little grounded in reality.
Mhm.
And so that really got me into exploring energy healing more and like, okay, well, how can I learn this? Where can I go and learn this? And back then I was like 22 when this happened. So I was still in my conditioning mindset, you know,
Yeah,
still in the
22 was a major year
scarcity.
for me too, so I love that. That
Yeah,
was for you
it's
too.
like pivotal,
Yeah, it was
right?
super
It
pivotal for
can
me
be, I think,
if you choose
if
it
we
to
heed the
be.
calls, right? So
Mhm.
the calls are always there throughout our life as we choose
Mhm.
to heed them or ignore them, you know. And
Yes.
sometimes it takes a long time, and
Mhm.
sometimes we get it. You know, it's like
Mhm.
our soul is always trying to wake us up.
Mhm.
Um, and so from Hands of Light, I got into Reiki because scarcity mindset. I was like, I'm not moving to Florida for a 4-year school and 10K, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I'm already going to school. So I think I'll just stick to that.
Mhm.
Let me see what else I could figure out.
Mhm.
And as I researched more, I found Reiki. And with Reiki, that was a little more easier, a little more accessible. I was like, I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And back then, not a lot of people were talking about it. But there was still enough people. So I actually got a
Definitely.
few attunements, actually all my Reiki 1, 2, and Master attunement in one go over distance. And they were like, yeah, this is our offering. It's free. We'll send you a pamphlet explaining things and the
Mhm.
symbols and how to do it. And here's your certificate. And you don't even have to do anything special. You could just go about your day.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Wow.
okay, well, I'm going to be going to work at that time. So I'm like driving down the freeway, getting my Reiki attunements. I know, right?
That's
No,
scary.
no one told me. But for me, it was perfect because the way I experience energy, I guess it takes a lot for me to feel something, you know? So
Mhm.
I was not overwhelmed. And I actually was like, oh, I think I felt something and I feel different and I feel energized. And like I have all these thoughts that are really clear, like clear thoughts,
Mm.
questions, answers, you know, really complex things, existential things that I had going on. So I was like, okay, I think it worked, you know. So I went
Mhm.
home that day and I did some meditating and I practiced and I gave myself Reiki and I was like, yay, it's working.
Mhm.
So it was very DIY for me, you know, it was very like
Mhm.
trust and faith and all right, let's see if this kind of works. And then once I figured out that it works and it's a thing and, you know, like my logical mind was a little more soothed, I was like, all right, I think I need to find a teacher in person, you know, let's do this right. Cause that was
Mhm.
like a little precursor. And I found a teacher in Long Beach, Ula Molida. She's Polish and she was residing in Long Beach at that time. And I got a couple of sessions from her and I would attend her Reiki circles. And she allowed me to her group basically. And
Mhm.
then when she was getting ready to teach her master classes, I convinced her to let me take them because she's like a little trepidatious, you know, online distance attunements
Mhm.
were a bit stigmatized up until recently
Mhm.
because people don't know what's
How
what and what you're
energy.
getting or
Yeah.
who's legit, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
understandably so.
Yeah.
And so she saw that I was definitely doing Reiki through her circle. So she's like, okay, I'll let you take my classes. And so I did my Reiki master like classes again with her
Mhm.
and got a little more grounded, you
Mhm.
know, mentorship and
Mhm.
um, like more upgraded energy, I guess you could
Mhm.
say, or just a refinement of energy. It's great to always take the classes from different teachers over just to see how everyone
Mhm. I
teaches. The
agree.
people teach different
Yeah.
ways,
Yeah.
different information. Sometimes
Yeah.
information gets omitted and then
Mhm.
revealed again. So
Mhm.
So that was how it all started for me. And, you know, it's been definitely an interesting journey. I definitely felt the fire under my wings, so
Mhm.
to speak, right when I got my attunements. I was like, this is it.
Mhm.
You know, I felt it in my bones. I felt the catalytic energy. And I was like, this is my mission. This is like, I need to use this to heal myself and
Mhm.
I need to teach others how to do this for
Mhm.
themselves because
Mhm.
this is very important. It's a very important piece in human
Mhm.
relationships and humanity evolution, you know.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
felt like people like need to wake up to their
Yeah.
divinity, and that's like the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I did see that as a very important part of my mission, and I saw Reiki as a way to deliver the mission,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
it's a very catalytic modality. So it can like activate your latent gifts, clear you to be able to ground your higher gifts into your body, as well as be able to be of service in however you can show up. So I saw that as a way to help wake people up. And so that's been my journey for the most part. And, through it, I've been able to really focus on myself and heal myself. That's
Yeah.
the initial component of all of that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you
of
keep like,
course.
I'm gonna save the world.
Yes.
And I'm like, I save myself first.
Yeah.
Right. Of
So
course.
definitely had that moment. Like, okay,
Yeah.
let me take myself
I
first.
feel that. That's definitely me. I feel like that all the time. But I was going to ask, can you explain to everyone what exactly are the differences between Holy Fire Reiki and the
Usui.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
So Usui Reiki is the lineage of Reiki that's come through Sensei Usui from Japan in the 17th century, and that is the more traditional Reiki that's practiced. And most Reiki lineages are offshoots of the Usui Reiki, so they have some component of the Usui Reiki, and that they build upon, and then they add different frequencies that they have channeled in as well. So Holy Fire Reiki comes with the basis of the Usui Reiki, and with the addition of the Holy Fire energies. So Holy Fire is actually a really ancient frequency and healing energy that's been on the planet since the times of Jesus. That was the original ascended master that brought the energy to the planet. And in those times, it was not as available. But as it's coming through the lineage of Reiki, it is more accessible to everyone. And it's not religious, even though we use terms that are maybe used in the Bible. And Master Jesus is an ascended master that we see as a spiritual being. And the whole practice of Reiki is not religious. It's considered spiritual. And there's no dogma involved in those ways. So the Holy Fire energy is present at this time on the planet to support us through this heightened awakening that we're going through, since we're moving through this cosmic energy of the photon belt that allows us to basically receive the energy that we need to wake us up. Things that we were kind of doing on our own timeline are being accelerated for us to be able to do it faster, so that we can create this new earth reality that we're all looking to eagerly create and live. And as the Kali Yuga is closing, that's the dark ages, the cycle of dark ages is closing off, and we're entering the golden age. We do actually need to manifest some really powerful changes to like go into those age, that golden age. So right now we're like in a transition phase where things are still tumultuous, the old is still dying off, and the new is
Oh yeah.
is coming in.
Yeah.
And so
She's creating the bridge, y'all.
Yes.
yeah, we are all the bridges.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so,
Yeah.
Becoming the bridge between.
Yeah.
exactly. That's what Reiki's all about. Is we are the bridge between the heights and the earth, and we anchoring the energies into Gaia through our own vessel.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by photon belt? Like, get a little more 3D and explain what that is and why it's important for us to have some sort of awareness of how we work with that energy.
Okay, well, I'll explain to the best of my abilities.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a scientist.
Yeah.
But as I understand, the Earth is moving through a place in space that has higher frequencies of energy as a belt. So it's like a whole belt of energies, and the Earth is moving through that. So as for spiritually, what that means is we are receiving. So Reiki is a lot like those high frequency ascension energies. So when we receive a Reiki session, it allows us to release things that we don't need. It brings things up for us to process. It's catalytic, it's activating, all those things. And so the ascension energies are that essentially. And the photon belt is the ascension energies that we're experiencing. So basically higher frequencies of energies that are hitting the earth at this time to help us wake up. But that happens by, clearing us, cleansing us, but also bringing up things within us that need to be healed, things that are uncomfortable, things that we're ignoring, you know, things that make us complacent.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for explaining that for us.
Yeah.
So, as you dive deeper into your work, what's like a reoccurring lesson, or maybe like something that you feel like you're still learning? Because I know that was like a while ago you were talking about like how you first started and like you've grown so much now. Like now you're an artist, a creator of all so many things,
And a mom
a
now.
mother, you know what
Two.
I mean? A mother of two, okay? A homeowner, right? I mean, a home, or you know what I mean?
Excuse me.
Constantly upgrading your life, you know what I mean? And constantly traveling. So, what's something that's like a lesson you've been learning or hearing a lot, or
Well, it's complicated, right? It's so many things. But something that I have learned over and over again is just to humble myself and release my ego, what I think I am and who I am, what I'm doing, and just be able to look at myself from all sides and do the healing that needs to be done for myself on an ongoing basis. That's what really all it comes back to. And keeping my practices alive, which takes more discipline. I mean, I knew it takes discipline, but I mean, I'm really testing it out lately, and I'm like, yeah, it takes a lot of discipline. So,
yeah.
keeping the practices alive that keep me centered, grounded, aligned, in tune. Yeah.
I was just would say, how do you balance keeping your spiritual practice alive and keeping your home in order? You know what I mean? Like, 'cause you have two kids who are, growing every
Yeah.
day and like getting more opinionated
Oh
and,
yeah.
Are
they're,
very expressive kids.
yeah. So, and they're, obviously there for you. So it's like, how do you guys balance that and how does that work?
It does take work and persistence and consistency, and yeah, it does really help for me to have my own practice on the lockdown. So like I know that I have my own self-care time. I'm releasing the things I need to release, replenishing, tuning in, grounding, being sourced and amplified so that I am, giving from a full cup from that place every day, every moment. And it is a constant juggling, it especially with the art too. That's like an extra, like new little thing that I'm like giving more and more energy to. So it's just all about making sure my things are done, like as much as possible, and also giving myself the time that I need. And then also like the downtime that comes with that. There's also like, there's expansion and then there's the contraction that we just need to be okay with relaxing and not creating and being on the go. So it's definitely a balance. And some days, the art gets done and the dishes don't. So
I love that. That's great. Speaking of art, so tell us about this beautiful piece of art that we have right behind you.
Oh.
It's gorgeous.
And to the right.
And then to our right, we have two pieces here for our audio listeners. We have one huge piece with looks like so much texture. That's what I love about your artwork. It has so much texture. It makes me want to touch it.
It's like 3D.
It's 3D.
Very tactile.
It's very luminescent and iridescent in the way that it moves, and I love how it makes movement. I love art, as you can tell, guys. I'm like studying the painting as I'm looking at it right now. It's really makes you feel emotions. It makes you feel a lot of emotions, and I just want to ask, like, what's the story behind these paintings, and also what was your first art medium? Because now I see the paintings, and we also have resin art, and we also have earrings, jewelry. You guys, there's so many things. Trays. You create so many things. So what was first?
Yeah, it's like, and I have to say, the art is a byproduct of the healing. Like when I feel like when my chakras are aligned and everything's good, the creativity is flowing and it's like
Heck yeah.
overflowing abundance, you know, into
Mhm.
something. I gotta do something with it. So
Wow.
yeah, I think my first love is acrylics or painting. You know, I'm just
Mhm.
like I dabble with the watercolor, but acrylic, I did get a little bit of training with some classes, so I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing and I have some techniques.
Mhm.
But all the art is created with the intersection of the healing energies. So for me, actually, art was a way to tap into colors. I
Mm.
was not tapping into as many colors that were available to me in my multidimensional beingness
Mhm.
as my guides were saying. And so like in channeling sessions, they were like urging me to paint. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll try that. I mean, I
Mhm.
already liked painting, but I was like, I need some classes to help me
Mhm.
out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And then I found the perfect class. It was painting from your essence. So it's all about tapping into your own
That's
energy, your
beautiful.
intuition,
It's a
and
great class name.
and yeah, creating from your essence.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like channeling the painting, you know, like seeing the blank
Mm.
canvas and then bringing that, like capturing the frequency of the painting and
Yes.
bringing it through. So we would do all these meditations and
Mhm.
be steeped in all the colors of the earths, the cosmos. And so that
Mm.
really like opened up all the color frequencies for me.
Mhm.
And that was really amazing. So I just kind of let myself get lost in that for a while. And for me, it's all about the shimmery colors. You know, it's the places that I channel. It's the places that I
Mhm.
live.
Yeah.
You know, multidimensionally. Those are
Yes.
my frequencies. That's my energy signature. I guess you could say the
Yes.
colors. And the paintings are all charged with Reiki. There's some Reiki symbols underneath the paintings.
Mhm.
And even the resin medium is charged with Reiki.
Mm.
And so I think that like shows up in the art.
Yeah.
People can feel it. They can
Mhm.
feel the emotions, you
Oh
know,
yes.
in the colors and the
Mhm.
joy that it brings me when I paint. And
Mhm.
sometimes maybe other emotions too, because
Yeah.
painting is really cathartic, you know, just
Mhm.
like get it all out there, you
I've
know.
been feeling the call to paint as well, and your art actually really inspires me to get painting. So I've bought an art set because of you. So I'm hopefully, but I
Oh.
also feel the same. Like I need to ground in a class a little bit. So I've been watching little YouTube tutorials, little
Raa'na, you should
classes.
Yeah.
you should
But
do one.
you should teach the
You
class.
should do one.
Yeah,
In
maybe.
person and virtual. That'd be so much fun.
And so, how did you? Yes, we need that. So, coming soon. Touch of
Yeah.
light art
Arts.
classes
Yeah.
coming soon. Okay,
Yeah,
be on the lookout.
people
Follow her on
have
Instagram.
been asking me. I don't feel like
I'll
I'm
take.
quite
You got a
ready
student
yet.
right here.
Yeah,
you
you
got
got
one
two,
student right here
actually.
too.
A
Make that
Reiki
two.
painting
Solomon
class.
3.
Ooh,
3.
I like
Okay,
that.
I'm
Bring
throwing
Solomon.
Solomon in the mix. Sorry, we all need to paint. It's a very visceral and beautiful
Yes.
release.
Soul painting.
Yes.
Yes, soul painting with touch of light art.
Wow.
Just like they have the wine painting.
Pre-buy your tickets.
You know, you could do like a
purchase now.
cannabis.
Website now.
meditate with cannabis and then paint.
Yes.
Yes.
That
Look,
got
you-
us
look,
excited.
You see how excited we got?
that hit the
we gotta-
spot.
yes. So coming soon, you guys.
I know
We're-
you guys.
Yeah. We're like, yes.
Mwah.
Yes. It's coming. You hear that, guys?
Wait, you had a question.
So, I know we said this is your first love, the acrylic paintings. Was it the acrylic in the painting that made you want to work with resin, or that you were like, those are the similar
question.
pieces of art? How did you transition or add on, I should say,
Can we get a close up of the table?
of these beautiful
go.
That's
Look
pieces
at all
of
these
art?
pieces, y'all.
Yes, we have necklaces, we have candlelight
That orange
holders,
tray
we
is
have beautiful
everything.
trays,
Okay.
pop sockets, earrings like of oranges, dehydrated
me
oranges.
show
Looks
these
like
earrings
covered
again.
in resin. We have like
Yeah.
some flowers covered in resin, a little bit of gold. There's all types of beautiful things, guys.
Yeah.
And you also do you do 4th Street Fridays in Long Beach?
Yeah, 4th Fridays on 4th Street.
Yes.
There
So
most of the time.
all right, sounds good. Check her out there. Always, go to her Instagram, of course, to really find out if she's going to be there every 4th Friday.
Yeah.
But yeah, how'd you get into this new art? 'Cause it's gorgeous. I'm living for it.
Yeah.
It's giving.
The resin.
Raa'na is so obsessed with these pieces.
Like-
I am too, but Raa'na was like, oh my God, I want everything.
I'm a Pisces rising. My Pisces is my first house. So this is like,
Beauty is
This
overtaken.
is very Piscean.
yes.
Yes.
It's
Okay.
like,
It kind of
Continue.
happened as a fluke. Well, my friend had come over one day and we kind of did some resin projects with orgonite. We made some orgonite pyramids, which is the EMF blocking technology that William Reich came up with back in the day, which we've expanded upon. And that was my introduction to resin. I was like, okay, this is something I could work with. It's a little tricky. It's like it's a liquid medium, and you have like a part A and a part B that you combine. It's like a chemical reaction. You have to work fast before it hardens to make your thing. So he introduced me to it, and then like years later, I was like, I'm thinking to buy some resin and cover one of my paintings in it because you can like create this beautiful effect. And I was like, I'm going to try that. And I was a little hesitant, but I had the resin sitting around. And then I was like, oh, I need some coasters. I want some coasters. And I went online to see if I could purchase a beautiful resin coaster. I had been following a lot of resin artists on Instagram. So I'd been seeing them do the process for a while, like gleaning. And then I was like, I need a resin coaster. And I went online to buy one. I was like, I think I'm going to try to make it. That seems more fun. So that kind of opened up a big Pandora's box as well. Because it's not just the resin, you get the molds, you get these little colors, the other things that go in. It's a
full-blown
whole thing.
hobby.
It's a whole thing. But I fell in, with
So
just
much
that
fun.
first coaster set, I just fell into it hard. It was like a rabbit hole. It was like so many colors. It was like way more colors than I can, work with in acrylics. So it was like,
She got so excited. She like lit up with
my
these colors.
colors,
I
yeah.
know. I'm like,
It was
ooh, okay.
quite titillating,
Yeah.
very exciting. So that
Yes.
gets me super excited. Just all the different sheer possibilities, like, dried oranges and leaves, or these like holographic foils, or just
Love
all the
that
different
tray.
colors and all this different functional art. I love functional things, and functional art's my jam. So I was like, oh, great, I can make functional art. I love also making things with my hands. And I've always had a dream of selling things that I make. So this is, I'm living my maker dream right now.
Yeah, dreams do come true.
And so this medium was it. Like it really just hit many different notes for me. The infinite possibilities with color and medium, and the fact that I could make functional art that people really like and were purchasing. So I was like, I think this is good. And also they're infused with Reiki. So there's that intersection with the spirituality and healing as well. That feels like I'm fulfilling a purpose, high vibe art for your home. Like the things that you place on these trays are vibing with that Reiki energy. The energy's coming off the art, in your home, in your healing space. It's uplifting the space, uplifting whoever is sitting next to it. So I feel like it's all very detailed and multi-layered.
Oh yeah, they're making me happy right now.
I can say I'm a testimonial of those trays. I have them at my altar, but I also switch it out with like candle magic. So first of all, I felt like the tray I bought from her, which I definitely have shown it on the podcast. I felt like it was me. Like it was all like it was supposed to come to me. And there's this green goddess on there too. So works with a lot. Raana works with a lot of divine, high vibrational energy, and that one was extremely like a divine goddess energy that came through. It was so pretty.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel it. Like you're over here, like I can't wait to go over there. Switching gears a little bit, I want to talk about Lemuria and see if you want to share what that connection means to you. What is it, or what does it mean to you? Because I feel like there's a general kind of definition that's out there, but I feel like everybody has a different experience because we were not all in human form, and there were several like epochs or moments that happened during that time. So tell us a little about Lemuria, what your experience has been like with that past life regression, and just how that's integrated with what you're doing now and who you are now.
Okay. Well, Lemuria, the land of Mu, land before time, a place where higher vibrational beings came to, well, a place that we created on planet Earth so that we could thrive and adjust in, and basically create a race that could survive the planet, and bringing our teachings and our healing modalities and techniques and all that to planet Earth, basically seeding planet Earth with a new galactic race made up of many galactic races, to create a thriving planet that can eventually serve its purpose of what is the purpose of Earth?
I think it's just a creation of it. What anything is possible. I feel like we're healing that connection that we had from, but something happened. I feel like there's something that happened in Mu that, like, we had to have that experience of Mu that showed the light side of polarity. Oh, the light side of polarity, and then the fall happened, which those beings that were in the time of Lemuria or remember Lemuria had to work through, which is the emotional body, which makes Raana and myself, to be very honest, work really well with shadow work with people because we understand both of it, and we've also gone through our deep, remembrances through the shadow. But yeah, I think the purpose of it is that polarity for me
Yeah.
and anchoring the highest trajectory for Earth.
Right. Yeah, Earth being a playground for us to, work out polarity and being human, which is to integrate our emotions and our mental energetic sides. And I do believe that some are more geared to the emotions and some are more geared to mental abilities. So like to have a human that can survive planet, we needed to be integrated and be able to experience the full spectrum of emotions and not just like the upper chakras or the lower chakras. So yeah, I think being on Earth, we came as the pure, pristine, ascended beings that we were trying to see the planet, but also the planet taught us that in order for us to do that, we needed to integrate what the planet had to offer. And that was being able to be at one with our emotions and be able to navigate emotions. And so I do believe the fall has a lot to do with that as well. And, there's always origin stories and stories about the fall. And as far as Mu is concerned, what I have heard is that there was, at that point, different factions of beings, even on Mu, after many, many eras of being on Earth. And there was like a portal open that allowed entities to come through. And so this created the fall of the perfect humans, so to speak, and created chaos that we had to navigate through. And then through that chaos,
that we're still working
born,
through.
yeah. All these different timelines that we're still working through.
Yeah.
And then the Atlantean times also, I feel like we're an evolution of that timeline with integrating the knowledge and the chaos and trying to make something of it where we just got way ahead of with the knowledge and not as caught up with the emotions, We kind of progressed in the technology much faster than we progressed in our emotional and energetic abilities, which we're still grappling with. Actually, the technology is still much faster.
Yeah. Where did we come from? You mentioned that we came from galactic places. And some of y'all be like, what word is she saying? So just take this as a seed to be planted in and do your own research of a lot of these things that Raa'na is mentioning so that you
Definitely.
could start to see if it's something that you really need to know. So you don't want to fragment yourself because there's so much information about all of this. But I wanted to get a little bit more cosmic on this side to understand our cosmic ancestry.
I believe the people of Mu were, and I mean, even at that point, they had already been through so many hybridizations, so to speak. The Lyrians, the Syrians, the Pleiadians, the Andromedans, and a whole bunch of other galactic races that we don't even mention because these are the heavy hitters. But those were the main components of the galactic races that made up the people of Mu, I believe.
And they say that we supposedly come through the Orion's belt into the space of what we call Earth.
Right.
Yeah. But she makes a good point because what she just mentioned is really like what most of us, not all of us, because I think there's different types of being on Earth, which is a whole different conversation. But I think majority of us have these ancestries in our lineage. And for me, being Mayan and knowing how the Mayan was able to weave that in the cosmic information gives me even more of that like spark within me that like this shit's real, y'all. Like there's some other shit out there that we that our culture, our society doesn't show us. You know, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter, but it's kind of our duty to explore that, to open up our third eye a little bit more, even if we didn't have a lifetime there. um you know, there was so much more of her story that we don't know yet, but we're here to spark that through our healing process.
Yeah, and I really do believe that opening of the crown and the upper chakras and being able to commune with our higher guides, our galactic guides, and knowing who we are and where we come from allows us to be able to ground further
Exactly.
in and better into Earth. So all that information is not here to take us away, to escape, to
Good
be like,
point.
I am this or that, the other thing,
Yes.
and hide
Point.
behind that.
Yes.
Because
Let
that's
'em
all
know.
just
Yeah,
information for us to learn and grow
real.
from and anchor it back down
Tell 'em.
here.
Yes.
Our address is on Earth. This is where we manifest our abundance. If your
Yep.
address is out in the cosmos, that's where your
I love it.
mail's going, and you're
Yeah.
not getting
Yeah.
those checks. So
Yeah.
get your manifestation back down on Earth.
Yeah.
And it's all about Earth. It's all
Yeah.
about Gaia and ushering in this next golden age
Yeah.
and an awakened planet of ascended master. We're all ascended masters walking this planet. This planet is not for the faint of heart, and there's definitely like a line of beings who want to be here. It's like a long waiting list of beings that want to be here. So even the ones that are asleep, and who knows if they'll even wake up in this lifetime, we're all ascended masters walking this planet, all whether we're awake or asleep. And so some of us are a little more in training, some of us are still completely asleep, and some of us are a little further along the training,
Yeah.
but we're all here just walking each other home and helping each other wake up.
Amen.
I love that.
So we
That
can
was
serve
beautiful.
Gaia, because Gaia herself is a cosmic being, a soul, having her
Yes.
lifetimes as a planet, a high dimensional being. And so, you know, they, you know, is receiving something from us being here, but we're also serving her. And it's different than what we normally think. But yeah, the basics of it is just taking care of our mother, you know, not littering, not using toxic things, and, you know, all that other raping and pillaging of the earth that goes on, you know, for
Seriously.
money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
corporate
gonna-
greed that takes us away.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I think it's really important too that you said that, because although we're planting seeds right now, letting you guys know about a lot of cosmic and divine information, we also want you to remember that we are still here on Earth while we're having these experiences, and to be able to ground into your emotions and ground into yourself, or just have more awareness when you're doing your research, when you are listening to us, aware of how you're bodily reacting to the things that we're saying, the way things make you feel when you research these types of things, and just overall just awareness, because, you know, while there is like we were talking about earlier, the overuse of technology, there is a lot of information out there. So we don't want you to become overwhelmed by it, or like get into obsessive type way of looking at things, but more of just like we're opening your eyes to it, we're you know, expanding your knowledge to it. And tell us, how did you start teaching it? Because you said that you guys taught a couple classes together, Sosa and you guys.
Well, she taught me, but
Oh,
I
you
did do a Reiki kids camp with her.
Okay,
years
okay, yeah.
ago.
So tell us
Yeah.
about the kids camp and how you got into teaching this, because like we just talked about, these are very complex and complicated, and also just beautiful concepts to be speaking about on a 3D level. So how did you find a way to integrate that in yourself to where you could teach it to others and also to children? Because that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
get into it.
Well, the Reiki healing modality is it is course. It is, you know, brought through by Sensei Usui and then many other masters that have come through after. So it's definitely, there's like a way of teaching it. There's in all information that needs to be taught to everyone. So there is like,
Exactly.
okay, there's a curriculum, you know, that I can go off of. But I just felt that initial fire when I first got attuned. I was like, this is it. I feel like every household should have a Reiki practitioner. Just like people have ibuprofen in the medicine cabinet. Somebody in the
You
house
hear
needs
that,
to be able
y'all?
to do some
Yo,
healing
that's
on
a
the
great
hands, you
comparison.
know? It's like a daily maintenance thing. And then also if someone's
See?
sick.
Telling you, Raina.
So that was
That's like why you make it
my mission, you know. I'm like, everybody needs to learn Reiki, because through Reiki, it's like a foundation to your awakening journey, to your awakening your higher gifts, to your healing journey, to having just like more meaning to this existence, you know. Like I figured out early on that my life was not a 9 to 5. It was never meant to be the way they, you know, have painted it so far. And so like
The
that
cookie
urged
cutter mold
me,
of.
yeah, to like look behind the veil, so to speak, and be like, what else is over here?
Yeah.
But really, the healing journey is just about committing to that. It can be challenging, you know, but if you're committed to the healing journey, you'll take whatever it takes. You'll do whatever it takes
Yeah.
to do it. And there is a certain level of commitment that needs to happen, because it is challenging to keep coming back and keep doing it over and over again. And if I feel like if I didn't have this mission of teaching others how to heal, it would have been really hard for me too, as well, to move through that. And it did take me a really long time. Like after I decided I'm going to teach Reiki, I taught for a year, and then life happened, and it took like another 10 years for me to sort through my stuff, my all my baggage, so to speak, the conditioning, the trauma, the core wounds, you know, the patriarchy, the ancestral healing, all of that. And it all started to activate through my relationship, through having children, and, you know, these different rites of passages that activate different things within us that you aren't really aware of before it happens, you know? So all that happened, and Reiki helped me to process, to move through it, however long it took. And that was, you know, my journey. And that also depends on each person individually. Like, you know, if you want to move through it quickly, you're going to be committed, you're going to do whatever it takes, it's going to be accelerated. You know, and there's different ways to accelerate it as well. Plant medicine, one way. Reiki is another way as well. Reiki is an accelerated path of healing, but it gives you the tools, like to heal yourself and to keep moving forward, and the energy and the activation and all that. So it was a no-brainer for me. It was very clear for me. This is what I need to do. And it's been sustained. That mission has sustained me for a while. And that's like, I feel like it was my core mission. And then I also feel like serving Gaia through grid work and just different frequency keeping things. And, you know, like my ego is aware of much less of what my mission is than my spirit is. Like there's all these different things going on behind the scenes that I'm not even aware of, that I'm keeping the frequency of the planet and like all this stuff. So
Grid work. Can you get into that a little deeper, just because I'm a bit familiar with the term, but maybe our listeners aren't?
Energy grid work for the earth. So it's basically the earth has a life force energy of her own, and there's different lines of energy crisscrossing earth. They're called the ley lines. And these ley lines, when they intersect, create vortexes. And those are like usual really high vibrational places on earth where people have noticed that this is happening, and there's pyramids or temples, or like the Sedona, you know, there's just natural areas where people can be in those energies. And so the earth has all these different systems of energy happening in her atmosphere, within the ground, on, you know, the 3D surface. And so earthwork gridding or grid work is communing with the earth in a way where we are anchoring certain energies from the cosmos, clearing the energies within the ley lines, clearing dense spots from the earth where there's been trauma, war, violence. You know, all the earth tends to hold on to the dense energy, and it keeps her from thriving. So the plants, animals, minerals, and just the energetic space of earth herself. Like we all want to be aligned to the highest frequencies possible. And most natural areas can do that, but some places get bogged down with and people stuff. So we come in and clear, realign, recalibrate, like cleanse the lines of energies. They're all like flowing and all the vortexes are clear. And so we do this by ritual and ceremony. We do grid work on the earth itself with natural elements of what's available in the area. So if you're at the beach, shells and twigs, flowers and plants, crystals. We always use crystals, placing the crystals in the earth, on the earth, in the earth, in different formations, and then just anchoring the energies into those grids and clearing, cleansing, recalibrating.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, thank you for that. That was a
Space
great
keeping.
Yes, that
Yeah.
was a great description. I love that.
I was gonna say, when she was on her road trip and she was going to the south, and it was like her first time going down there, and I remember her talking or sharing with me about going into those spaces where they were really dense and like no one has really touched it in the south. I think you were in Virginia, right?
Yeah, Charleston,
Yeah.
Oh
North
yeah.
Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta.
What did you experience? Because one of the things that I love about Raa'na, y'all, is that she works with the I don't the concept or the energy of entities that are for me more like stuck energy. Like y'all ever seen Soul and like the shadow things that come out of Soul? I've used this reference before. That's how we experience entities. Some of us have some in our own lineage that can come out in certain ways that can be triggered. So they're out there. But she was dealing with some heavy, dense stuff. And she was very noble to take that on because some people actually get intimidated by that work because it's kind of intimidating. You got to be really strong and be able to hold that light. And I think you do a great job doing that because you're so compassionate too. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that experience.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting to feel the energies and all the different states that we traveled through. I remember Charleston was so electric. It was just like I just felt like I was getting these little jolts
That's
of
what Jess said,
energy
too.
constantly. And it's like the most I have felt anywhere, really.
Mm.
And that's really how I perceive entities. They come into my aura in different ways, and I have learned to identify them as those interference energies. So yeah, Charleston was the most active in that way. But yeah, it was interesting to see, and then just also clearing the land everywhere I went and activating the land. So cleansing the dense energies and activating, aligning all the elements in the land to align to their highest potential divinity, and all to see the new earth codes that are coming into the planet to help this new era flourish. And I guess I got into this work. I feel like I've been being trained for clearing entities my whole life. It's
Oh,
like just
yeah.
one of those things. I was born and raised in India where people are pretty spiritual and aware of energy, and there's like all these different temples, and people don't really do certain things at sunset because that's where we know that the spirits are alive and out and about. So there's different practices that go on around that time that are like cleansing, clearing practices. But just all that to say that, a little more aware and tuned in and open to things like that.
Yeah.
And so I guess that was like my training ground,
Oh yeah.
And then when I got here, it took me a while to be ready to do that kind of work. I mean, I've been a Reiki master for 17 years, and it wasn't until just about 5 years ago or so that I started doing the entity work. And when I was ready, I made that announcement like, okay, I think I'm ready for this, and that's when I started to experience them in my field and like, oh wow, okay, that does not feel good. Let's get rid of that ASAP. And as soon as I would clear it, do my little clearing, the feeling would subside and I could check in and see that the entities had been released. So I just continued to build my, relationship with how I experience them. I am not hugely clairvoyant. I'm not hugely clairsentient, but I'm claircognizant. So I work more in the knowing realm and telepathy. which also takes a lot of getting used to because everyone is so obsessed with being clairvoyant.
Yeah.
And so, like, we all think if we're not clairvoyant, then we're not psychic, which is not
Yes.
the truth. We all experience those clairvoyant or clair senses, those subtle energies in different ways. So, and I think that actually helps me to clear the entities because I can't see them. They're not scary in my
Yeah.
face, you know, because they actually do appear
Oh.
very scary to some people.
They do,
And then they
y'all.
scare
Yeah.
people off.
Not. It's
Yeah.
And that could be like, okay, I'm done. I'm done with that.
Oh
So
yeah, I've had
if I can't
moments I'm
see
like,
them,
fuck this.
Yeah. I'm period.
you know, so I can like feel them and I know that they're there and I can just clear them. So I'm not
Yeah.
attached. I don't like get involved personally because I
Yeah.
can't like super
Yeah.
experience them.
You
Which is
shouldn't.
like a boon. It's a good thing
Yeah.
for me. I'm like, I really feel like I made a contract before I got here that I was like, this clairvoyance business is too intense. I don't need that this lifetime because I need some peace and rest. Let me just give me the different clairsense that I can work with. And I'm still clairvoyant and clairaudient and other things as well, but that's just not my superpower,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Yes,
you
of
know.
course.
And I feel like that's okay. Now that I've gotten this far in my journey, I was obsessed with being clairvoyant for a long time. And that's actually what, you know, just being psychic,
Yeah.
you know, it's like a thing people place importance on. So in this Reiki journey, I was like, well, if I just keep doing Reiki and I keep healing myself, I will be psychic.
Yeah.
And yes, is actually true, but it has taken a lot of reworking my own stories around that because I'm so obsessed with being clairvoyant, you know, but I'm like, well, you're still psychic, but it's not that. So can we just rework it and focus on what's actually coming through because you're getting distracted and you're not even receiving it. So it's been an interesting journey and like letting that go and trusting the intuition as well. But all those, you know, not being as clairvoyant, I feel like helps me and also not feeling the energy as strongly. That also helps me process energy in places like I can be in places without being debilitated.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah.
like this organite amulet that I have, like I actually don't feel like I need it, you know, because I got my own little thing going and it's actually very dense with sacred geometry. I feel like I'm covered, but folks that are empaths that really feel the energy
Those are the ones
to the
big
T,
circle
like
ones in the
every
middle.
little
Yes.
interference, you know, people that feel every little interference in their field, it's good for them to have a little barrier to be able to not feel every little thing. 'Cause I feel like that can be debilitating.
Yeah, I had a session with you a few weeks ago, and I highly recommend Raana on a sense of like deep ancestral healing. Like if you are ready and have been doing the work, go to her. If you are just exploring, maybe not yet. Like she's kind of like the real deal in the sense of like cutting cords, and you'll feel physically, emotionally, spiritually, you will feel this. We did a rape ceremony, which is grounded tobacco and some herbs. And that was one of the most amazing experience I've ever had. Just because I was coming back from Chicago and doing a lot of ancestral work and healing work with my family. So I was coming back and I know when I need a backup or I need support. So ceremony with her was absolutely beautiful. And then we did Reiki afterwards. And she does light language as well, which is an ancient type of language, healing, vibration, way of expression, really, that is very, very healing. And I was going to ask if you want to share any of what your light language sounds like, because I always feel like when people tap into that frequency, it's always a channel's message for you, but when we receive it into our field, it may bring some sensations up. So just allow, because it's kind of like what she does is like recalibrates, right? She just goes in there and
Resets the system.
yeah, it's just amazing. So I kind of wanted to open up so that we can hear that a little bit if you want to share.
Yeah, I'm open to it. So the light language is just a different, I guess you could even call it a healing modality. Just the way it comes through, it heals in a rapid way. I feel like it, you know, I've been working with it in conjunction with Reiki, so I don't know how it feels on its own, but together it feels really
Mhm.
potent and it heals a lot more rapidly.
Amazing.
And as the light language happens, it kind of takes you to like a higher place, and then you like coast for a little while.
Mhm.
I mean, everybody experiences it a little differently, but it is a healing energy and can be expressed through, I guess, voice, through language, as well as art and mudras too, like movements.
Mhm.
I love
So,
that.
um, let me see, tap in and see what I can
Yeah.
find. Ta arien ta ayana iana ia kiara na aistaniata. Star kinu oya na ayanya tia kiara sta most ni kiat niatna yatiana tiatna. Krostiniara tna ayatnu kiara na itnu oya na tia kiastnariata. Star kina ianu umar na kiantana iara na yatnu ura kiastanat niata. Kriana no kristanama kriantana ratano orianta ayana kitana yastana yakiana no ustakistana ariantana kitana. O kinana itanomo orienta astana kitana no orienta astana kitani tiaranata titana. Kro kriantanama kriantana yatana kristana shtana kriana tara ta kiara ta nara ta ki tara tinara titi. Yarianta inkin tiarana yati stastana kitana. I'm just taking a deep breath in and release. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that should be a beautiful way of wrapping it up. Definitely check out Raa'na and her services, her website, and how you can connect with her, how you can connect to just being a better person or individual, more awake, more awareness. We have the tools. Book a session with her, support her, buy her jewelry, buy her artwork, all the things. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. See you next time.
Thank you.
Adios.
See you next
Mahalo.
time.
Woo!
Bye.
Look at that artwork.
Yes,
Yes.
come through our work. Shout out to